I used to be like, Eric Larson is crazy. He doesn't want anybody. He don't want a Savage Dragon movie because he doesn't want anybody writing his characters. You don't want any money, but you got to think about it. When all the Image guys worked at Marvel, it was like, okay, you work at a company, you create a character, and before you can get that character like solidified, you look up and some other motherfucker's using your character in another book. It's like, wait a minute, man, I'm not done writing that character. I created the character. It's my character. No, you work for Marvel or you work for DC or Dark Horse or whoever the fuck it is. No, it's the company's character. It's like, but if I hadn't created the character, you wouldn't have the character, right? If I hadn't created that character, you wouldn't be able to use that character in another X title. Or X title, Fantastic Four title, whatever kind of title, you know. So then you got to start thinking about this, like, and then I was a freshman at Hampton University, which was a black college, and at first the guys I was hanging out with, I hung out in two little cliques. And the main clique that I hung out with, these guys were like all reading Image at first, and then after like a semester, they're like, "Oh, this ain't gonna work. You got a character who's from fucking hell." There are other the demon Etrigan is from hell. So all of a sudden, it's like, no, these guys suck. They should have just had, it would have been better had Wildcats and Cyberforce just been in Marvel. I'm like, oh my God, dude, are you fucking serious? There's actually an issue of X-Men written by John Byrne called Too Many Mutants. Why the hell would they need, I mean, it'd be awesome to have Wildcats, and they already did that because I bought that. Wildcats and the X-Men did team up. But Wildcats and the X-Men and Cyberflop, Wildcats, the X-Men, Cyberforce, and Tribe. Really, if Tribe were there, then I'm in. But it would be cool to have them all team up, but it wouldn't be cool to have them in the Marvel Universe. Spawn wouldn't even work in the Marvel Universe. But Marvel found that out when they copied them. But my thing is this: it doesn't really make sense if you understand the creative process. And if you create a character, you don't want somebody just stealing your character. I mean, Mary Shelley didn't let motherfuckers steal Frankenstein. She had to die first. Sherlock Holmes, the only writer I know that let motherfuckers just take their characters and do whatever they want was H.P. Lovecraft. But he was growing his mythos. That was his plan. He grew his mythos that way. But he didn't really lose any money on that. The guys who created Image, they would have lost money, clearly. Because Spawn is the fourth greatest selling comic book of all time. I think the first was Jim Lee's X-Men. I think they made 8 million. X-Force made 4 million. Spider-Man made 2 million. And Spawn made 1 million. Issue ones. So the fact that Spawn made $1 million in sales, that tells you right there that those characters didn't need to be in Marvel. But, as a creator of characters, I mean, why should I give my best characters away to a company that's not making me rich? That makes no sense. Screenwriters don't do, well, most screenwriters, well, it ain't, okay, put it like this. Most authors who create a franchise from a book, like a Star Wars type thing, they know that that's worth, well, we know it now. Back in the day, we didn't know it. When I was a little kid, we didn't know it. But we know these franchises are worth billions of dollars. So it doesn't make sense for you to create these characters and just give them to this company so they can publish them, when you can publish them yourself and you can sell the rights to the movie yourself later. You know, when Eastman and Laird created the Ninja Turtles, nobody wanted the Ninja Turtles, which is very funny. Well, I don't mean nobody in the comic book industry, even though Ninja Turtles really wouldn't have fit into DC or Marvel anyway, because, well, shit, Marvel had Rocket Raccoon and Howard the Duck. But, you know, Ninja Turtles, they have their own thing. They are their own thing. They can't just be another book in DC or Marvel. But, I forgot where I was going with that. Nobody wanted the Ninja Turtles as far as television. There was a producer who did want the Ninja Turtles, but he showed it to his boss, and his fucking boss said, "That's gonna sink like a Led Zeppelin." That's gonna sink like a Led Zeppelin. No, he didn't say that, but he may as well have said that shit. That's gonna sink like a Led Zeppelin. That's basically what they kind of said about the Ninja Turtles. It's like, okay, I tried. It's like, good Lord. That's like the dude who passed, the dude at Channel 2 passed on the Cosby Show at first. But anyway, yeah, at first people don't know it's gonna be big or whatever. But you know, it doesn't really make sense. You don't see other writers like Anne Rice or the lady that created Twilight even. You didn't see those people giving their characters away. And Marvel did not a Twilight. Marvel did Anita Blake. Marvel did an Anita Blake comic book, which I bought the first graphic novel of. Yeah. But they had to pay her for that. It wasn't like, hey, we're going to bring Anita Blake into the X-Men universe and we're not going to pay you for it. And we're going to pay you per the page, like Marvel used to pay the artist per page or whatever. And you can't have the rights to this anymore. It's like, if you're going to make a comic book out of Ender's Game and Anita Blake and pay those authors, then why can't you do that for the people that work for you anyway? Because back in the day, it was like, hey, you should be happy to have a job. It's like, I don't want to get dicked at the job. Goddamn. You know, I deserve to get paid for my work. So, I was thinking about that. Because I'm gonna hold on to Duck Girl and Soundman for a while. Because as you can see, Soundman and I have a lot in common. I shouldn't say a lot, but I just feel like if you're gonna write a black character and they're not the king of Wakanda, if you're gonna write an African American character who's been to college, that's a very specific type of character. So you need to have someone who can draw from their experiences to write that character, especially down to the dialogue. A lot of people, that's one thing that's one thing that shows whether you're a good writer or not, is when you start writing the dialogue. Every character, you can have a line like, "I'm about to go to the store." You got a character who says, "I'm fit to go to the store," or "I'm about to go to the store," or "I'm going to the store," or "I'm driving to the store," or, and then people with British accents or whatever colloquial things. Every character is going to say that differently. Down to, there's girls who you can spell it like, instead of saying boy, if it's a young teenage girl, not young teenage girl, just a teenage girl, somebody 16 to 19, you can even write BOI for boy when they speak, because that's how they think. So you write it the way they speak. Oh my God, that means when I write Duck Girls dialogue, I don't have to use punctuation. If I write, that's the funny thing. I got to think about that. When I write Duck Girls dialogue, do I actually have to write punctuation? Because, oh my God, when AOL came out, there were so many grown women. I mean, a woman who's 25 years old writing a comment back to you, and there's 3 sentences and no periods. There's 3 sentences and no periods. Oh my God. So I don't know. I might have to think about how to write that for Duck Girl, because she did not go to high school. She was raised on an island. For those of you who don't know, Duck Girl is a super soldier created from the DNA of 4 different mythologies, and she went to ninja school. She went to ninja high school. Pun intended. Inside joke intended. She didn't go to she didn't go to a regular high school, and of course she didn't go to college. That whole Duck Girl and Crane go to college shit, that's just like Rodney Dangerfield. She didn't go to college, she went to party. So when Duck Girl writes stuff, it's gonna be like, if she writes a note to Soundman, Soundman's gonna look like, the fuck? The fuck? And then there's just things like how you write things the way you say them or the way you hear them. And she might write the stuff like there'll be misspelled words and there'll be no punctuation where there should be. And I'm not doing it to be like, she's a manic pixie dream girl, even though she's a goddess, manic pixie dream goddess. But it's true though. I mean, there are adult women who don't use punctuation when they write. It's like, oh my God. And they spell the word boy, B-O-I. Or there's people that are like, okay, like Soundman has a brother who's a rapper. So then all his dialogue is in hip hop. It's all phonetic. Nothing is spelled right, because it's all, if a rapper spelled it incorrectly, then that character spells it incorrectly the way the previous rapper spelled it incorrectly, because that's within his character. But yeah, things to think about. But see, me as the creator of the character, I know this. And it doesn't mean that Duck Girl's an idiot or anything. She's very intelligent. It's just she didn't go to college because she's not human. She's a super soldier created from the God's DNA, different God's DNA. And then she was raised on an island, Lugnag. So she was trained to fight. She wasn't trained to become a senator or some shit. So you got to think about the education level of your character too, But yeah, there are all these things that you won't be able to have control over that if you let some big corporation take your character from you because you work for them. It's best to stay independent as long as you can, and then get the shit made to a video game, TV show, a movie, and then you have input as executive producer, because I'm like, no, this character would say this in this instance. There's the other thing with Soundman about being he's not Hal Jordan, but he's not completely Oliver Queen either. So you got to have that social intelligence, because you have people like they're the super scientists. They're so intelligent. He's a genius. He has a PhD, and it's like Soundman's like, there are people who go to college and do not study physics. There are people who go to college and their major is not mathematics. You can't downgrade somebody who gets a bachelor's degree or a master's degree and it's not in the sciences. They went to fucking college. There's that, okay? So there's the knowing how to deal with different people. And that's why certain superheroes get to be leaders in a team. Soundman's in a team of 5 people, and he gets to be the leader because Soundman gets to be the leader because he's not immature. He's not on drugs, literally. He's not a complete imbecile, and he's not delusional. Because I have a character who's delusional. She sees things that aren't there. Then you have a character also there's a political leaning. You don't want a superhero team leader who's like leaning completely political left or completely political right. You want somebody to be neutral as a superhero leader. Then there's a guy who's like literally like the Tick in his brain capacity. Then you have somebody who's petty and kind of like a little ghetto-ish. And then, like I said, you have a person who's an alcoholic or a drug abuser. And by default, Soundman gets to be the leader. See, I have all these things set up that's why I can't just give the characters away. So I do understand where Eric Larson and other people at Image were coming from when they were like, yeah, I'm going to work on my characters and I'm going to own my characters. And I don't like other people writing my characters. Well, I wouldn't have a problem with someone else writing my characters as long as they follow the book, the Bond Comics Bible, and I don't have all the character attributes in those books, but I do have like all the powers for. I do have all the powers for Soundman in the books, and I have the powers and the weaknesses for Duck Girl because she's mythological, and Thor can die. Hercules did die in mythology. I know how Hercules died, and so I wrote stuff in there. So this is how you have to do these things to kill Duck Girl because she's from 4 mythology. So there's four things that you can use to kill her, but you got to use 2 out of the 4 or something. But yeah, we gotta control what we create, and otherwise someone else will present it to the world in a movie or a TV show, and we're looking like, man, this is the Huntress on Arrow. This is the Huntress on Arrow. It's like, no, this isn't right. Yeah, so we don't want that. So that's all.